8 minutes till the horse will be moving out onto the track for race one here at Grand River Raceway. And you know what time that is? It is time to take a look at the early pick five with a new guarantee of $5,000. We got a nice little increase in that guarantee for this opening sequence, thanks to the support of all the players so far this season here at the River. So thank you for that. But we're gonna hopefully we can just keep on building these pools with these guarantees and low takeouts of 15%. A nice wagering sequence, I thought, too, in this pick five tonight. You can see I kind of start thin, get wide, get thin again, and finish with a key. And for me in this opener, I actually really like the one heavy duty. Surprised right now that he's 10 to 1 on the board. Had a bit of a trouble trip last time. Made the watch list for yours truly. I'm just going too deep. Heavy duty, the one, and the three, Rosie's War Bonds, who I think's progressed really as a racehorse, one that's low to a speed. Nice post to work from tonight. So just too deep for me here in the opening leg with the 1 and 3. It is a very competitive looking dash, but I just wanted to use those two. I'm sure Gary's going to say I might be crazy for not using the 5 Insanity, but we'll see what he says when he comes aboard. Race number 2, the 1, 2, 6, and 8 for me. Thought that was another race that looks a little bit wide open. Fear the Crush. Last time took all kinds of support, got a decent trip, was no match for Blue Glamber, but I think she's got a big chance to come back tonight. Queen of Soul, probably the best horse in the race, but post 8, so had to spread out there 1, 2, 6, and 8 for me. Race 3, you can see it on the board there. I use 5 of the 9 in there. We do have a couple of 2-year-olds racing tonight on the card, including in that third dash, the 9 Diamond Girl. I'm using more than half the field here. I do like the 5 Run Baby because of her early speed, but I'm not too confident that she can either get there or close at her mile, depending on how she races. I thought there was quite a few horses with a chance in there, so we're going to go 5 deep. 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9, spreading out in race number 3. Race 4, just the 1 and 5, and I'm probably I'm using both horses in there. I'm probably only take a stand with one of them, the 1 Duchess of Brant and the 5 Hayek Hanover. Hayek Hanover, of course, last time disappointed as the heavy favorite when she made a break in stride on the rail at 30 cents the dollar. And of course, Duchess of Brant then went on to win at a big price in that race. Now, if Hayek Hanover stays flat this time, does she go back to the winner's circle? Who knows? But Duchess of Brant raced fantastic last time, so she's hard to ignore in there from the rail. I'm going to use them both, though, 1 and 5. Race 5, that's our big high 5 carryover. It's the money leg of the pick 5. It's going to be a real important race for everyone playing tonight's card. And I'm singled up on the 3 Hervey Hanover, a horse that's missed almost a month of action, but his last effort was so good at Flamborough Downs. Jody Cullen's red hot right now. 2 wins last night over at Georgian Downs and 3 wins in her last 9 overall. I'm happy singling Hervey Hanover in there, the 3, and that ticket will cost you $16. But let's see what Gary Guy has in store for us tonight.
By the way, your ticket got cheaper down to 12.80 because the 9 in the third race is gone. So now you got 4
There
in
you go.
there, but well, you're spending a little less money. But I spent less than you, and in the first race we have a difference of opinion because I have the 2 and the 3. I actually think the 3 is the one, Rosie's War Bonds, but the 2 and the 3 are my 2 in there. And then in the second race, we kind of see the race pretty much the same, except for I did not include number 6 Hurricane Misodran, so I only have 3 in there, 1, 2, and 8. Third race, we differ a lot. You took a bunch. I took 1. Run Baby. I'm all in on Run Baby in the third. In race 4, we both think the 1 and 5, but I do actually have the 5 as my picked winner, but I think it's between those two. And in the fifth race, where you went with the key, I went with a bunch, and I have the 2, 3, 5, and 6. The 4 is also scratched, so I broadened out in the fifth race because, I like Hervé Hanover as my top pick, but I'm not completely confident. There's some other ones in there, and I think if there's a horse that might be trouble for you, Harper's Hat Trick. That's one of my favorite horses.
It is one of your favorite horses, and I know why. It was the horse that was the subject of the Gary Guy guarantee. I believe it was last year, and it was not a short price on that occasion. I think paid handsomely. You said the horse wouldn't lose. I think it's the only time I've ever heard you say that so emphatically about a horse, and came through with a big victory on that occasion. I like Harper's hat trick in there tonight, but for a smaller piece of it, I just think that is it Hervé Hanover?
Well,
I thought
I
it
don't
was
know.
Hervé.
I've said Hervé, and then you said You said
Hervey.
Hervey,
Yeah,
and
maybe it's Hervey.
I don't know.
I thought it was Hurricane Ms. Rodine too. I mean, that's what I thought too. But I mean, listen, you're the announcer. I'm not going to tell you how to call horses. I love your race calls. So, um, but yeah, I think that I do think that that last leg is one that could provide a little bit of trouble. But I just really like the way that Hervey or Hervey Hanover has been racing in his latest efforts, and the Cullen Barn's been so hot. You saw it last night at Georgian Downs, and there's Conley's ticket. Conley's ticket right there, and we can see he's kind of playing a little bit tighter throughout the sequence. The 3-6 in the opener, 3-8 in leg two, 1-2-7 in the third race. In race four, he's singling up on the one, so he's going to take a stand with Duchess of Brant, which I don't mind. You got two horses that are equally matched. When you take a stand, you're doing the right thing as a gambler, no question about it. You use them both, you're losing equity, like what Conley's doing there. 3-4-5, just down to the 3-5 now. Last leg, the four is out of that one, but there you go. Nice little ticket from Conley there. It's a little bit cheaper too than that 720. But 2 minutes till we'll be coming out onto the track for this opening race. Get your tickets in for the early pick five. Again, guarantee has been raised to $5,000, and the takeout is still a low 15%.
Field 4, race 1 on parade 1. Heavy duty Ryan DeRoche for Natalie Elliott. Number 2 is Alcina, Chris Christoforou for Camila Christoforou and Coyote Wind Farms. And 3, Rosie's War Bonds, Eddie Hensley for Ashley Hensley. Number 4 is Ace By, Brett Medina for Jared Bothwell, and a numbered company from Garreely. And number 5, Insanity, Anthony Hunt for Tisha Sives and Michael Goldberg. Number 6 is Monteverde. It's Natasha Day for Jeff Graham and Kerry Howard. Number 7 is Starlet Elmo, Travis Henry for Gerard Demaris and Triple S Equine. 8 is Number Zeus, Garrett Rooney for Brian Lawrence and Smirk Incorporated. And 9 is Missy's Magic Man, Jason Ryan for Ron Corbett. Field of 9, race number 1. Let's get right to it. The first leg of the pick 5. And, well, Rob, you and I have a different opinion, although I see the tote board is starting to move more in your direction with one heavy duty.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it should. And this score down, I like to see this right now from Ryan DeRoche because heavy duty last time went to the lead, kind of took a little bit of a shuffle, got stuck behind one. If you remember on the turn for home, Gary actually said, "Oh, heavy duty's one to go to next week," because and not that he would have beat CrossFit, but I think he certainly would have been a lot closer to CrossFit. So I like the score down right now. I think that's going to be the intent tonight. Go forward off the gate in the pole position, and I thought that he yeah, came home in 32 seconds, but part of that was because he got backed up a little bit by a rival on the final turn. So 5-2, Price is coming down in a hurry, but I do think that to me he was the one I want to be involved with the most, and I'm even going to probably single him on some of my tickets.
Well, number 3, Rosie's War Bonds is my top pick in here, and we both used this one on the pick 5. And Rosie's War Bonds, loved what I saw at Georgian Downs last time out.
Yeah, and I think that he's a horse that's really progressed nicely. One that was 1 for 26 last year, hit the board with frequency, picked up a lot of pieces. This year, 2 for 19. But he's also kind of racing against more seasoned racehorses as he comes up the ranks. Just a four-time winner in his career, but one that certainly makes his presence felt every time he steps in the track, especially when he gets an inside post. But you see even those lines there from outside post recently, he's been coming around them at Georgian from post 8 for the lead, battling it out from post 7, post 9 at Mohawk Park. So I think inside draw, we're going to see him take flight off the switch and try to cut this out. That's why I'd love a lineup of 3-1 in here. Alcina might be difficult to keep out of that top two as well, but I'd like to see it line up 3-1-1-3 and see what happens.
Number 5, Insanity. Well, maybe we're both crazy because we both didn't use this one in the pick 5. Certainly that last race was a good race.
Yeah, and I said I thought you were going to call me out on being crazy for not using Insanity because last time you said that to me, and the effort was a huge one, right? At 9-1 too, and came back from seventh, was overland a long way, made a nice move to get the place spot behind CrossFit, and now you move in a spot on the gate. Now I think this is probably about an equal field. It just depends what the trip scenario is going to be this time out, but I think Insanity's in with a chance in here. 9-1's an overlay, in my opinion. That makes me a little more inclined to use Insanity.
And Alcina is the other one that I used on the pick 5. You used for 4th. Equipment change, blinkers to open.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, I've always liked her, from the minute she stepped into the track and, last season and 0 for 7 in that campaign. Notched 2 victories this year, is one that's hit the board with all kinds of, frequency with 11 of 21 times top three. And I think that, she's showing now a different element where she can leave out of there and get to the front. Last time, though, got things thrown away and backed up to fourth. That was a non-winners of 3. So I think this is a tougher group, pound for pound. I think, she might be up against it. But if she does sit a favorable trip, she can certainly get a decent chunk.
Interesting that Alcina, Chris Christopher, who drove this one to victory April 6th, went to the front and just kept on trucking at Mohawk and the non-winners at 2.
Yeah, that was when she kind of changed her racing style, right? She was always kind of one that would race off a helmet, race off the pace. That time around, went to the front. Big margin on the turn for home when she kicked up a pretty wild third quarter at 28-3, and then held on by a neck. So we might see that version of her tonight. I think sitting a trip is probably your best path to glory. And again, I've got her ceiling as being third or fourth in here.
Well, we'll see how it unfolds. It is race number 1, the first leg of the pick 5 with that guaranteed $5,000 pool. And the start of the double as well. Heavy duty Alcina, Rosie's War Bonds on the inside. And the center race by an Insanity. To the outside, Monteverde. Starlet almost numbered Zeus. And the second tier, Missy's Magic Man. It's a field of 9. It's race number 1, first of 10 dashes on a manic Monday at the river. Here they come. And the field for race number 1, gathering speed nearing the start. There at the start of the rough, Rosie's War Bonds and Heavy Duty. Alcina, Insanity, and Starlit Elmo. Starlit Elmo went off stride. Right now, Heavy Duty with the inside advantage in Alcina. Rosie's War Bonds now is driving on the outside second, but Heavy Duty has got the lead. Alcina is on the inside and still has that inside advantage over Eddie Hensley and Rosie War Bonds, who's still caught on the outside and is looking to press on now and come on and get the lead. Rosie's War Bonds looking to grab the front from Heavy Duty. Alcina, Missy's Magic Man is fourth, and then Insanity and Ace By, and then it is Monteverde and Stonebridge Zeus, and they're working around the turn. Rosie's War Bonds dropped down to 4-5 and has the lead, but had to work hard to get there. Rosie's War Bonds, Heavy Duty, Alcina, Missy's Magic Man, and Insanity. Then to the outside goes Ace By. Then it is back further to Monteverde, and then further back racing positioned second from last is Stonebridge Zeus and Starlit Elmo made an early break. Halftime was 58 seconds. Rosie's War Bonds leads as they work their way past the 5/8 and on into the backstretch. Heavy Duty is getting a nice trip. Alcina's to the inside. Ace By now is up and closing ground. Ace By is moving up and is only about 2 off the lead. And also coming on the outside is Insanity. Rosie's War Bonds. Ace By has just 1 to get by now. Heavy Duty is racing third. Then Insanity to the outside is fourth, and Alcina is racing fifth. And then it is Monteverde, Missy's Magic Man, and Stonebridge Zeus. Rosie's War Bonds and Eddie Hensley gets a little urge there now. Ace By on the outside is getting a little bit closer. Heavy Duty is waiting for the passing lane, and Insanity is well spotted second over. And then it is Alcina, Monteverde, Rosie's War Bonds as they turn for home. Rosie's War Bonds, Heavy Duty up the inside is getting closer. Rosie's War Bonds is dug in though. Rosie's War Bonds wins it. Heavy Duty was second. Then it was Ace By and Alcina. Rosie's War Bonds 157-4. Was able to hold on after being used a bit in that early quarter, Rob, to get the lead.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things where I'm watching it unfold, and I was hoping, having bet Heavy Duty, hoping that Rosie's War Bonds would get into that 2-hole, because I think Ed Hensley was more than happy to duck there if he could have. But Chris Christopher just kept on kind of inching forward to close it on him, which forced him to drive on. Which really, then Rosie's War Bonds. That's a big effort, right? For a horse that sometimes he gets a little bit tired on the end of his miles. Sometimes he had to work hard, like you said, Gary. You're kind of like accelerating, then you're kind of like, okay, I'm going to decelerate to get in the 2-hole. Oh, I better accelerate again to get to the lead. So kind of used multiple times in that opening quarter, gets to the lead, and then holds off a charge up the inside from Heavy Duty, who got a perfect 2-hole trip. I actually thought Heavy Duty might blow by in the stretch with the passing lane. Didn't happen. Ended up being the 2 that, I figured were the best 2 in there to the wire, and Rosie's War Bonds, much to the favorite player's delight, converts at 4-5.
And you know who I wanted to mention was for Ace By, because that last start at Georgian Downs. We didn't use this one because he's moving up. That's a tough effort from post 9 at Georgian last race.
Yeah, it is, and it was a big effort tonight. First over for a long way. I remember this horse. For Pierre Beauvais used to train and drive. And it was kind of a quirky horse at times, right? It looks like they've got this one figured out. If he can race that handy, overlaying last time from the 9-hole to be third at Georgia, and this time around, first up a long way to a pretty good horse in Rosie's War Bonds, and stuck around for third. I actually thought he was going to pack it in and back to the field. Didn't happen. So definitely one to keep an eye on, doing good things for Jared Bothwell.
Well, back in front of us is number 3, Rosie's War Bonds, a 5-year-old muscle mass bay gelding, owned by Ed and Ashley Hensley. Ashley Hensley, the winning driver. Hurricane Hensley with the winning drive. It is the 3rd win this year in the 5th lifetime. Rosie's War Bonds, 157-4. A Hurricane in the winner's circle on a Monday night at the River. The first race payouts: 3 Rosie's War Bonds, $390, $280, $270. 1 Heavy Duty, $420, $3, and 4 Ace By, $480. $2 exact rate, $90 try, $43.85. Super, $149.55. Here is the first race order finish from the top. It's at 241 356 987. That is 241 356 987.
Just a few minutes away, 5 minutes away, till the horse will be moving out onto the track for the second. Again, the favorite gets home in the opening race on the card. Means a lot of people are still alive in that early pick five. But guess what? It's time for the early pick four. Guaranteed pool $2,500. Might as well jump up and in with yours truly on your own ticket in this sequence, which started off right here in race number two. For me, I thought this was kind of a tough looking race. The odds board doesn't agree right now. They've made Fear the Crush another hefty favorite right now, 1-5. This is reminiscent of the money she took last week. Got hammered at the windows early, and then the price kind of went up a little bit come post time to 6-5. But I mean, she's 1-5 right now. That the effort was pretty good to be second to Blue Glamber, but I'm not sure she should be 1-5 in here. So I'm four deep, 1, 2, 6, and 8. I went to the 8, Queen of Soul on top. I know that that's walking a fine line when you pick a horse from the 8 hole here. Only won at 1.8% last season, but I thought that she might be worth a whirl. I don't think she'll be 20-1. I was hoping for more like 6 or 7-1 just based on the post position. Race 3, the 1, 2, 5, and 6, the 9 Diamond Girl, I believe, has been scratched in that contest. So just four deep in there with the 1, 2, 5, and 6. Looks like kind of a wide open affair. I thought there are some horses that might have a bit of a speed edge on others in there, but I thought that you'd want to kind of spread out in that race, right? It's a non-winners of 1 or 8,000 life race, and a lot of horses have had multiple chances to break their maiden, and only one has before. So we're going four deep in there with the 1, 2, 5, and 6. Race number 4, we're going to go two deep. The two horses that the race should go through: the 1 Duchess of Brant and the 5 Hayek Hanover. Hayek Hanover made that break last time, and Duchess of Brant won by as much as she pleased, really. And that might be the result again this time around. But if Hayek Hanover can behave herself and get into the race, that might be a nice showdown between those two. Race 5, going to single up on my spot play of the night, number 3, Hervey Hanover, or Hervey Hanover, as Gary says. And I just thought that this is a spot where he can get back to the winner's circle. 1 for 11 this season. He's hit the board 6 times, but 8 wins last year. Last start, even though it was almost a month ago, I thought was very encouraging. Back half 55-4 over Flamborough Downs, and was willingly closing right to the wire after being overland for a long way. Jody Cullen, a couple of winners at Georgian Downs last night. 3 for her last 9 overall. Hervey Hanover is going to be my single in there. So now we're down to a cost of what is this going to be now?
Come on,
Four
where's the
times four
quick
is
math? I'm
16.
waiting for you.
Times two is 32. Well, it says yeah, it
A
should be
dollar
$6 and
sixty.
40 $1.60. I don't think
32
so.
combinations. 4 times 4 is 16, 2, 30. 1632. How than that?
Yeah,
$1.60, is it
640.
not?
640.
Oh, it goes the other way. Oh, then you're right. See?
640. Yeah, it goes the other way.
See,
That's what
that's
you
why
were
you always
confusing
do
me
the
with,
math.
Gary. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The math on the screen was confusing me there, but no, it is 640. The original cost was $8. With the scratch of the nine goes down to 640, and yeah, now I'm all confused, and hopefully don't lose my bankroll on this race because Gary's chiming in with some
Hey,
funky
listen,
math. But we
you
can.
can't have good looks and math, so I'll go with the looks instead.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
Oh,
We'll
yeah, you're
take the
really
looks
buying
and
that?
the smooth, silky voice too, right? You've got all that on me.
Man, oh, man,
So
we're having some fun,
we
but you know what? I'm going to go with Hervey Hanover, by the way, because I trust you.
You can trust me. I watch a lot of races, okay, and I go with Hervey, but I like Hervey. Hervey sounds cooler. But 1 minute to map out your winning wagers, folks. There's the pool right now on the board, just over 1,100 right now, approaching that $2,500 guarantee. You got to map out your winning wagers for this early pick four sequence. Again, low takeout, 15%. Guaranteed pool, $2,500. We'll come back in just a few moments, take a closer look at this upcoming dash.
Field for the second race on parade. 1 Million Angels, Jason Ryan for Gino Cicero. Number 2 is Fear of the Crush, Scott Calder for Alan Shelton. Number 3 is Faithful's Nola, Garrett Rooney for Ernest Nucio. And 4 is Easy Breezy, Beautiful Eddie Hensley for Phil Coleman. 5 is Wasaga, Brett McDonough for Les Posen. Number 6 is Hurricane Misodrin, Travis Henry for Francis de Michel. And number 7 is Cheddar's Delight, Bruce Richardson for Bud Sinclair and Linda Richardson and Lindsay Sinclair. And number 8 is Queen of Soul, Anthony Hunt for Meg Crone in Hunt Racing. Field of 8, race number 2. And we'll get right to look at this field for the second race, the fillies and mares. And Rob, we both have number 8, Queen of Soul, which surprised me. I didn't think you'd be with me on Queen of Soul. And this one's starting to get more RESPCT, and Queen of Soul is dropping down, but coming all the way now down to 6-1. We'll see if we're right, or maybe we're just 2 links in a chain of fools.
Well, we might be. I mean, listen. First of all, she should not have been the price she was a little earlier. So she had to come down in odds. I thought 5 or 6 to 1, maybe 7 to 1, only because of the post, right? And yeah, I'm kind of shocked we're both on her too, seeing as post 8 has been such an impossible spot to win from. I said to someone today, it's almost like starting from the moon, right? It really is. Like it's had so much, so many woes over the last couple seasons, anyways, and um, usually it's an auto toss for me. But in this race, I said, you know what? To me, if you look at like her last race, even she's facing off against a bunch of horses that mostly were in for the claiming tag, who are seasoned race horses like Beauty is Blind, and she finished fifth. And I thought it really wasn't a poor effort, really, pound for pound in there. And before that, hadn't raced in a while and beat non-winners of 40,000 life in a race where there was a lot less horses in for like an optional tag. So I think she is the class of the field, probably the best horse in the race. Can she overcome the post? That's the big question. But 6 to 1, I mean, I think it's worth a chance. But on screen right now, we see the 2 Fear the Crush. And one of the reasons why I did go that other direction, Gary, is I thought she would get bet again, but I thought the price would be something more like it is right now, 6 to 5.
Well, and I just decided to take the 8 Queen of Soul and then say a little prayer and ride it out. But you went for your second choice with number 2, Fear of the Crush, 6 to 5. Last week you didn't take Fear of the Crush, and I said I'm afraid that might hurt you. Well, you got away with it because Blue Glamber won for you. Fear of the Crush, 4 to 5.
Yeah, she's been racing really well. I mean, got beat only 3/4 of the length, two back and third, two Blue Glamber, and then really, I don't think should have been favored against her last time, finishing second to that same horse. Looking really good on the track tonight. I just noticed that her ears were up. She looks like she's pretty happy out there. Even money to me, it's still too short. I mean, if she goes out and wins, that's fine. I mean, I used her in the pick five and the pick four, but I just thought that she might get over bet again, and she is right now. She comes home nicely. Sometimes that catches the eyes of some bettors. And listen, again, she might win, but if she does, she's going to win without me on a win ticket at 6 to 5.
Tell me a story about the 6 because I'm not sure what to make of her.
Well, second time Lasix is the start of the story, right? I mean, first time Lasix is something that I usually get excited about. Second time Lasix is something I usually will now put my dollars behind. Now there has been a little bit of time between starts there, but that win at Western Fair April 11th to me was a good one. And since then, she's had to take on some pretty tough competition. I bet Oguda in here. I'd bet Miss Amber in here. I certainly bet the horses that beat her at Mohawk Park in here as well. So I just thought that she might go off at a big number on the board, and she's probably not, supposed to be that big of a price against a field that's probably more in her reach than the odds board would show. I'm just thinking she outruns her odds in here. Maybe she won't, but I think she's worth using in the exotics. If she ever wins, wow, she'd be a big bust out in the multi legs.
My second choice, Million Angels from the Inside, post 1.
I was hoping I'd watch her last replay and see a horse that got locked in and nowhere to go and had all kinds. I didn't see that though. She did get shuffled, but she didn't have a ton of pace in the stretch. So I think she's a nice piece horse in here. I mean, she has won at this level before, so maybe she finds that tonight. I thought she might get over bet. To me, she is right now at 5 to 2.
Well, Rob and I are both on Queen of Soul from post 8 at 6 to 1. Fear the Crush is the even money favorite right now. Million Angels, Fear the Crush, and Faithful's Nola on the inside. In the center, Easy Breezy Beautiful with Sega. And to the outside, Hurricane Misodrin, Chatter's Delight, and Queen of Soul. It's a field of 8. It's the second dash. Here they come. Field for the second race is at the start of the off. Million Angels and Faithful's Nola. Was Sega. Queen of Soul leaves from an outside post. Million Angels as they driving around the turn. Million Angels and Wasega. Then working to the outside. Queen of Soul continues on. Queen of Soul is racing second now. Wasega third. Then Faithful's Nola and Fear of the Crush and back to Easy Breezy Beautiful. Hurricane Misodrin and Chatter's Delight. And Queen of Soul now is going to come up and take the lead. And Queen of Soul leads past the opening quarter and is in front of length and 3/4. Million Angels now is going to loop back out and look to reclaim the front. 27-2, a solid opening panel. Million Angels is going to lead, and then Queen of Soul riding along in the pocket, and then racing position to third is Wasega. Faithful's Nola is fourth, and Fear the Crush is to the outside fifth now. And then it is back to Easy Breezy Beautiful. Hurricane Misodrin and Chatter's Delight as they race their way up to the half off that 27-2 opening quarter. Million Angels, Wasega challenging. Queen of Soul in the pocket. And Fear the Crush is situated second over fourth. 57-1 halftime, 29-4 second panel. Million Angels getting tested by Wasega. And Queen of Soul right there viewing things from the pocket. Fear the Crush is situated second over fourth. Then Faithful's Nola, Easy Breezy Beautiful. Hurricane Misodrin and Chatter's Delight. Million Angels as they race on down the backstretch. Fear the Crush is now tipped out 3 wide, and in the center of the track was Sega, but now Fear the Crush is able to get the jump on Million Angels and grab the lead. With Sega in the center, and Queen of Soul has stepped up, but now it is Fear the Crush who leads quickly by about 2.5 or 3 lengths, and now sent out 3 wide. Queen of Soul has a lot of work to do. Fear the Crush and Queen of Soul with Sega. Million Angels as the field turns for home. On down the stretch route they come, and it is Fear the Crush who is now got this one put away. Fear of the Crush, and then actually up the inside, Faithful's Nola to pick up second with Sega, and Queen of Soul 154-3. Fear of the Crush was bet down to 4-5, and at the end it looked like that was the right thing to do.
Oh yeah, she won like a 1 to 9 shot. I mean, Yeah, she was really good. I mean, yeah, she got a real nice trip tonight. But when she was called upon, I mean, she was gone 54 and 3. That's a huge mile. Home in 28 seconds flat. Back half's going to be huge. I mean that was a real nice effort. You can see right here too. I mean, she looked like a horse tonight that I said, when she was kind of just going around before the race. So she enjoys her work and was pretty happy to be here. And you can see right there. I mean, she's giving all she can to the wire there for Scott Coulter under not much urging. She was having a good time with her tonight. 4 to 5 on the board. Again, I picked her for second again. Trying to get it maybe creative. I think we both got creative with Queen of Soul, but I don't mind the effort from Queen of Soul. I mean, she was used hard early. She ended up in a spot where she had to go, really wider on the final turn. I think she ended up fourth in the end, but it was an effort that I'd be willing to go back to with her. But not if she's in against Fear the Crush, because that was a real big performance.
And that also shows you the problem with Post 8 is Queen of Souls spent so much energy early. It's understandable that she didn't quite have enough to hold on to second. But also, when Million Angels kind of didn't go on after the around that final turn, that put Queen of Soul in a spot too.
It does, and I think it kind of speaks to how well Queen of Soul raced, right? A Million Angels, the one who kind of had the edge of the pole position, can't even stick with her. I think that kind of speaks to they were used a little bit harder than you'd think, right? 27-2 opening quarter, that's no joke here, and she was leaving like a million, and she still couldn't come around them, right? So it just shows you how hard it is to get away from post eight because she was moving really well off the switch. She just couldn't get around them because that turn comes so quick.
Well, back in front of us is number 2, Fear the Crush, a 3-year-old Fear the Dragon Bay filly, owned and trained by Alan Shelton. Scotty Coulter, the Tan Tornado, with the winning drive. It is the first win this year, fourth lifetime for Fear the Crush, 154 and 3. The second race payouts to Fear the Crush, 390, 270, and 230. Three Faithfuls, Nola, 660 and 430. Five was Sega, 720. Double of 3 and 2, 1410. $2 exactor, 1580. Dollar try, 76.85. Dollar super, 230.80. The second race over a finish from the top down is a 712 63584. That is 712 63584 on the bottom. Field for the third on parade one. Editor's choice: Travis Henry for Vern Cochran and Leonard Van Veen and Hildy Van Veen. Number two is Renaissance: Jason Ryan for Bruce McDonald and Stephanie Smith. Number four is Cocktail Carry: Brett McDonald for Louis F. Timiatis. Five is Run Baby: Tyler Moore for Francis Guillemette and Michelle Nollet. Number six, Cheese, the main event: Garrett Rooney for Chris Hill. Eight is Alabella: Bo Brown for Chad Hill and Kimberly Jensen. And three, Sand in My Stilettos: Eddie Hensley for Mark McDonnell. Field of seven for race number three. Let's get a quick look at this third race, fillies and mares. And five, Run Baby. We both have this one on top, but, well, I was a lot more confident because I used Run Baby alone in the pick five, but this is the race you kind of broadened out. So Run Baby's getting a lot of action, though, early 6-5.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why she's the favorite right now. I didn't understand, 1 to 9, 1 to 5 a little while ago, Gary. That to me is a little bit excessive. I mean, still non-winners of one, and the last effort was a real good one. The one before that did fade back to fourth, but that was against Duchess of Brant, and she did have to zoom to the lead from post eight on that occasion. And we both noted that, it takes a lot out of her, right? When she did that, and that's likely why she came home in 30-2. But another one that looks sharp on the track right now. I mean, as the price is going up, I'm starting to like it a little bit more the more I get to see her on the track because she looks pretty sharp out there. We know she's got gate speed. The name of her game is to go to the engine or somewhere close to it. Last time, much better when she was following, right? Sat the 2-0 much of the mile, only got beat a neck to Joyful Lady. So I think that's obviously a good sign. And maybe she's better when she gets covered up. So I do have her on top, but I didn't want to be alone with her here. That's for sure. I know you were braving it with her as a single. I ended up being four deep with a scratch of the nine Diamond Girl.
I should mention that I originally had 5-1, and then I edited my pick down to being just five. I left out editor's choice 9-2. Post one, that could be a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you always got to respect inside speed, right? But last time went to the lead, held, the engine comfortably throughout, and then faded to get beat by more than 8 lengths. So you got to look at that and say, well, she needs more staying power this time around. I mean, especially if Run Baby leaves out of there and gets on her back, or even vice versa. But I guess you look at it and say, this time around she's racing off a 2 week rotation. Last time was about the same. And real control again, experience over the track. There's a few things that might go in her favor. Now is favored at 4-5. I wouldn't get behind anyone at 4-5 in this field. I just can't do it. I mean, these are horses that have had many chances to break their maiden, and right now we've only had one that's actually done so, and that's Run Baby. So I'm not in a hurry to get behind anyone in this field at odds on. But I do think obviously she's got a big chance to get a decent chunk because she's got inside speed.
Number two, Renaissance. His ears are up and wants to hear what you got to say about her. I don't know what to make of the last race because Siri Sealster was long gone.
Yeah, it's hard to measure it, right? Because she got beat by more than 10 lengths to a horse that was under wraps. Obviously, that's considered to be a softer spot because it's now winners of 3,000 life. This is now winners of 8,000 life. But there's a lot of horses that are just interchanging between those two classes in here, so you can't really look at that as too big of a measuring stick as to how you think she'll do. But I did think considering she hadn't raced in so long, it was a solid effort, and she's got a reason to step forward now, racing back in a regular rotation, inside post to work from, second start for this barn. I think you've got to definitely give her consideration in here, and if you're looking for value, she's certainly worth taking a shot on versus the 2-1 of Editor's Choice and 3-2 of Run Baby.
And then the one that you used to the bottom of the super, number six.
Yeah, Cheese, the main event. I thought that the qualifier was a good one, right? And you're looking for any horse that might be able to step forward off a change. First start for trainer Chris Hill. Just thought maybe you'd want to have this one on there in case we get a bombs away winner. 23-1, that would certainly fit the bill.
Well, the fans are on editor's choice at 6-5. Now Run Baby is the second choice at 8-5. They're taking up their positions. Editor's Choice and Renaissance on the inside. In the center, Sand in My Stilettos, Cocktail Carry. And Run Baby to the outside. She's the main event in Alabella. It's a field of 7. It's race number 3 on a Monday night at the river. Here they come. And the field for the third is at the start of the rough. Editor's Choice, Run Baby comes out alertly, and Alabella and Renaissance as they drive on into the turn. Editor's Choice with that inside advantage, and Run Baby is still driving on the outside. Tyler Moore relaxed on the outside, though, with Run Baby and just coasting up on the outside to come on and take the lead. Editor's Choice is racing second. Renaissance is third. Then it is Sand in My Stilettos and Alabella and Cocktail Carry, and she's the main event. Run Baby 2-5 on the board now, dropped late. 28-3 opening quarter. Editor's Choice is racing second off stride when Cocktail Carry, and also affected was Cheese the main event. Now it is Renaissance who's racing third. Sand in My Stilettos is fourth, and Alabella is fifth. But it is Run Baby 2-5 on the board who's got the lead, and Editor's Choice is right there racing, filling the pocket, and Renaissance is third. Sand in My Stilettos and Alabella of a 28-3 opening quarter. The halftime is reached in 58-3. A 30-second second panel for Run Baby and Tyler Moore as they race on into the backstretch. Editor's Choice and Travis Henry staying right there close in the pocket, and Renaissance is on the move on the outside now for Jason Ryan, and Renaissance is moving up. Now Run Baby is going to have to pick up the challenge of Renaissance, who is closed up to within about 3/4 of a length. And then on the inside third is Editor's Choice. Alabella outside fourth and fifth is Sand in My Stilettos, and Run Baby is still sharp on the lead. Tyler Moore, no urging yet for Run Baby, but the plugs are out and leads at a length and a half. Renaissance is second. Editor's Choice is third as those three separate on the remaining two. Run Baby as they turn for home. Editor's Choice on the inside trying to close up the gap, and Renaissance on the outside. Run Baby on down the stretch route they come, and they're not coming to Run Baby, who's rolling with no urging at the finish. Renaissance was second. Editor's Choice third. Sand in My Stilettos fourth. Run Baby 157-1, fell down to 2-5, and then made it look like that was the correct thing to do.
Yeah, it definitely did, and also you did the correct thing in singling Run Baby, Gary. And I guess I should have got on that bandwagon. Four deep for me in here, and another favorite prevails. Right now this pick five is on track for a small payout. Even though the double, I was surprised that the early double paid $14 with a couple of odds-on horses winning. But yeah, Run Baby, look at that. She's under tight lines to the wire to Tyler Moore, and really never really much in doubt. Even when Renaissance came first over at her. Never really was able to issue a serious challenge before Run Baby just paced away to win by as much as she pleased.
You know, the one thing that I liked when Tyler Moore left, even though he wanted to make the front from post 5, I thought he was fairly relaxed on that first turn. He didn't over-hurry the horse. He knew he was going to drive on to get the lead, but he didn't do it with a lot of sort of hectic body action. He just kind of floated on out there.
Yeah, 28-3, decent enough quarter. But you're right. What I liked was, he was almost decelerating as he made the front, right? And some guys can do that. They recognize exactly how they're going to clear and when they're going to clear, and they're actually relaxing, their charge before they actually go in front of the horse that they're getting around. So that's how she was able to get that 30-second second quarter breather, and certainly did her the world of good. I mean, she looked pretty happy out there on the track before the race, and she still looks pretty proud of herself afterwards too. So she's with us, progressing nicely after going to the lead, taking a lot of air two back and stopping, finishing fourth. Second last time, this time around, just crushed her competition.
It is a 5-2-1-3 coming back in front of us. Number 5, Run Baby, a 3-year-old. He's watching Bay filly, owned by Michelle Nollet. Francis Guillemette is the trainer. And the winning drive to Tyler Moore. Second win this year, second lifetime. Run Baby, 157-1. The third race payout, 5 Run Baby, 280, 220, 210. 2 Renaissance, 430 and 270. And 1 Editor's Choice, 210. $2 exactor, $10.90. Dollars Rise, 685. The dollar super, 23.60. The third race order finish from the top is at 3, 2, 4, 7, 1. Scratch. Let's start all over. 3, 2, 4, 7, 1, 6. Scratch, 5, scratch. That's 3, 2, 4, 7, 1, 6. Scratch, 5, scratch. We need to get the AI machine to do the order finish. Field 4, race number 4 on parade. 1, Duchess of Brant, Travis Henry for Chris Haskell and Brooke Marks. Number 2 is Tierra Dancer, Scott Calder for Les Boson. Number 3, Good Enough for Me, Brian DeBrosh for David Keys. And number 4 is Lady in Lace, Brett Madonna for John Marshall and Robin Cassidy. 5 is Haya Cantor, Anthony Hunt for Meg Crone and Bruce McGean and Scott Davidson. Number 6, American Land, John Flanagan for Catherine Flanagan and Winters Racing. And number 7, Sunshine and Rain, Bruce Richardson for Dean Wall and Keith Wilson. Field of 7 for race number 4. Let's get a look at this field. And, well, Rob, you remember on Friday I told you that I'd learned my lesson not taking the 3-year-old against the 4-year-old? Apparently, I haven't learned yet because I took the 5 and you went with the 1, Duchess of Brant.
Yeah, I don't mind that move, Gary. I mean, obviously Duchess of Brant. I was on High Hanover last time against her, so maybe I'm now zigging when I should be zagging, back in her direction. But Duchess of Brant was just so good last time, right? Post 7. I know you were a believer in her in that effort. She went off at 6-1, likely only because of the post. She ended up being overland for part of that mile, moved wide around the last turn. Obviously, didn't have to worry about High Hanover, who jumped it off in the early going at 30 cents to the dollar, but just won so nicely. Going away, nice back half, 57-4, and I thought that she's going to be the deserving favorite this time out, even though the horse that was bet against her last time had no chance to tangle with her. She gets the post edge this time around with rail control, which is hard to say when on that evening on June 12th we saw 3 breakers from that spot. But I mean, typically speaking, that's where you want to be. So Duchess of Brant 4-5 right now. Nothing too appealing about that. But Hayek Hanover, if you were on her last time, you might as well jump on board this time around at a much better price at 2-1.
Well, I'll tell you, my whole thing with Hayek Hanover is just more visual. What I saw in her going all the way back to the first time I saw her out at Flamborough Downs, from that start from post 9, I just kind of thought, there's a lot there in that filly.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, those 2 efforts at Flamborough were devastating, right? She won by a combined margin of 8 lengths, and I thought she was going to go out there and win by a similar margin last time here. She looks pretty fired up in the track right now. Ears are up, looks really good right now for Anthony Hahn, pre-race appearance. And like I said, if you were on her last time at 30 cents the dollar, on principle, you almost have to come back to her this time at 2-1. Obviously the posts have flipped, but that shouldn't really matter for her because she's not a horse that necessarily even needs a lead. She kind of gets away sometimes mid pack or gets forwardly placed, then moves at them in the middle of the mile. So I think there's not much between the 2 of them, and if they both behave themselves, we might see a nice little showdown in the stretch.
Lady in Lace was better last race and was only beaten by 3 lengths to Duchess of Brant.
Yeah, it was a horse that I thought looked kind of interesting in here. Brett McDonald, jumped aboard, coming here to the river and got away 5th off the gate, finished with some pace in 3rd at 43-1. Obviously, you're getting a much smaller number this time out, so that's always a tough pill for me to swallow. 43-1 one week, now 6-1 this week. I'd rather go the other direction, 30 cents to the dollar up to 2-1 on High Hanover. But I just thought Lady in Lace looks like one that, by all rights, should get a pretty big piece of it again. She does have some tactical speed. She's showing she can race them off as well. She's kind of versatile, so I like her underneath in the exotics. But I do think that, again, level playing field in this race, those 2 should decide it.
And then you did use 2, Tierra Dancer, who's making a first start of the year. A couple qualifiers, though. What did they look like?
Qualifiers were good enough, right? I mean, they're at Mohawk Park against some horses that are definitely faster than her. She lost by margin in each of them, but the last one was intriguing to me because the 3rd quarter was 27-2. She came home in 30 seconds after that, but that's a pretty solid 3rd panel of 27-2, and she's a tactical speed type, right? 1 for 20 last year, 3 top 2 finishes, but she's one that typically makes her presence felt early in the mile, which is something that goes a long way here at the river. So if she just kind of maintains her position off the gate, she can land in the bottom of the try or super, hopefully add some value to it, which might be pretty chalky up top.
The one that I used for 3rd is number 3, Good Enough for Me. Flip flops to aluminum. Does have 3 wins and 10 starts in the year. I'm banking on this one bouncing back, but is racing off of being sick last time out. It's a field of 7 for the fourth, and taking up their positions, Duchess of Bram, the 4-5 favorite with Tierra Dancer. In the center, good enough for me, Lady and Lace and Hayek Hanover. And to the outside, American Land and Sunshine and Rain. It's a field of 7. It is race number 4. They're at the top of the stretch. Here they come. Field of 7 for the fourth race. There at the start of the rough, Duchess of Brant and Tierra Dancer, Lady in Lace and Hayek Hanover. Then along to the inside is Good Enough for Me. Then it is American Land and Sunshine and Rain. And Duchess of Brant has the lead. Tierra Dancer second. Hayek Hanover is still pressing on the outside as they race throughout into the backstretch. Duchess of Brant. Hayek Hanover is now looking to come up and sweep up and take the front. Tierra Dancer is racing third. Hayek Hanover now leads a length and a quarter, a length and a half, and clears to the front. Duchess of Brant is second. Tierra Dancer is third. Then Lady and Lace and Good Enough for Me, and American Land and Sunshine and Rain, and they work on around the turn, 29 and 2, the opening quarter. Hayek Hanover's got a lead of a length and a half. Duchess of Brant rides in the pocket, and Tierra Dancer is third. Lady and Lace is racing fourth as they race off the turn, and now Duchess of Brant is going to step out and look to reclaim the lead. Duchess of Brant is going to come on the outside and take the lead from Hayek Hanover and will clear before the turn. Duchess of Brant, Hayek Hanover, Tierra Dancer third, and Lady and Lace is racing fourth. On into the backstretch they go. Duchess of Brant and Hayek Hanover on down the backstretch, and now Lady and Lace to the outside is third, and Tierra Dancer is racing fourth. Then Good for Me and Sunshine and Rain and American Land. Duchess of Brant has the lead. Lady and Lace is driving on the outside, and Hayek Hanover on the inside now is looking to sprint through on the inside and reclaim second, and now is going to look to bear down on Duchess of Brant, who's moving well. Duchess of Brant has a lead of about 2, but now Hayek Hanover is kicked into high gear and is chasing hard. 3/4 was 128 and 4, 28 and 4, third panel. Duchess of Brant, Hayek Hanover as the field turns from Duchess of Brant and Hayek Hanover. Lady and Lace and Tierra Dancer. Duchess of Brant is sharp in the lane. Hayek Hanover chasing well, but is going to be beaten a length and a half, and then Tierra Dancer and Lady and Lace. 157 flat. Duchess of Brant and Hayek Hanover were the two best, and you tapped Duchess of Brant as the one, and well, so did the fans. 1-5.
Yeah, what a difference a week makes, right? I mean, this time around, they both go out there and mind their manners. Last time Hayek Hanover goes off as a huge favorite. This time Duchess of Brant does. But it was a nice race between those two, Gary. I mean, you can see they're just leaps and bounds. The best in there, and I thought that both raced really well. I mean, I'd be willing to bet both those horses coming out of that effort. Hoping they don't draw in against each other. They might again though, and I think that Hayek Hanover, maybe next time out might be a little more aggressive. I mean, she was aggressive early, but then released Duchess of Brant. The main thing coming out of that race for her is obviously a flat line, right? You don't want to have two breaks in a row, but either way, she was pacing up a storm late. But Duchess of Brant, rebuffed the challenge and has really strung together some nice efforts for trainer Chris Haskell. I mean, that's now 3 in a row, 4 of her last 5, and really looking like she's going to rack up some more wins too.
And I didn't use Tierra Dancer, but you used that one, and actually Tierra Dancer third, 70-1.
Yeah, 70. I mean, I'm surprised she was 70-1. I guess, I mean, from a standpoint of the two horses that are on top taking all the money, I get it. But I thought Tierra Dancer, again, just because she's got tactical speed, she's going to land on the gate and probably sit forever and let everything develop around her. She was one you had to use in the exotics. I mean, it still won't pay much with the coming in favorite, but it helps when you get the longest shot on the board into the trifecta.
Well, Duchess of Brant is the best in there, 1-5 on the board, and really lived up to it. 1-5-4. Duchess of Brant back in front of us, a 4-year-old Big Jim Bay mare on Brook Marks, trained by Chris Haskell. Travis Henry, the winning driver, 4th win in 5 starts this year, 4th win lifetime. Duchess of Brant. The fourth race payouts: one Duchess of Brand, 260, 210, 210. Five Hayek Hanover, 260, 230. Two Tierra Dancer, 450. $2 exactor, $540 try, $27.90 super, 50.05. Fans, here are some driver changes later in the program. Note in race 8, number 3, How Will I Know? Jay Harris. Race 8, 3, How Will I Know? Jay Harris will drive. In race 9, number 6, Thong Control. Sylvain Filion. And in the 10th race, number 2, Macho Phil. Austin Sorry. Austin Sorry will drive to Macho Phil in the 10th. The fourth race order finish from the top 1354276. That's 1354276 on the bottom. Field 4, race 5 on parade 1. DM John Wick Tallimore for Don Lindsay and Andrea Lindsay. Number 2 is Uncontrollable Travis Henry for Gerard Demers and Steve Perot and Joanne Deschamplain. Number 3 is Hervey Hanover, Eddie Hensley for Jody Cullen and A1 Stable. 4 is Scratched. 5 is Bugsy McGuire, Dale Spence for Rachel Andrew and Austin Surrey. Number 6, Harper's Hat-Trick, Anthony Hunt for Chris Haskell and Grant Shelton. And number 7, Real Wicked, Garrett Rooney for Michelle Sherman and Gary Anderson and Mart West Racing and Sean Downey and Dave Simpson. Number 8 is Ham Sandwich, Steve Houdon for Laura Toscani and Steve shares in ownership. And 9 is Easton Beach, George Ketros for Mary Ketros. Field of 8, race 5, the Super High 5, guaranteed $7,500 pool. Let's get a look at this field. And, well, we've both gone to Hervey Hanover, who was taking a lot of money early, but now is actually the second choice at 9-5, Rob.
Yeah, I think he'll come back down to be the favorite again, Gary, because I just thought this looks like a great spot for him. It really does. Now it has missed almost a month, right? That's kind of the wild card for me here. If he was on a regular rotation, to me, I would say that he'd be singled on every single one of my tickets. He's going to be singled on most of my tickets to the top in this high 5 with a nice carryover coming into it, low take 15%. But I I just thought he raced so good last time at Flamborough Downs. Was overland a long way, kept digging into the wire, back half 55-4. And a horse 8 for 48 last year, just 1 for 11 this year. This looks like the right spot for him, though, to get back to the winner's circle. It really does. Jody Cullen, 2 wins last night at Georgian Downs, 3 of her last 9 overall. Ed Hensley's got to be driving with confidence too, right? Win tonight, and he got a couple of victories too at Georgian. So I like his chances tremendously in here. Only thing that the concern is the time away, but maybe the freshening up was something he just needed.
One DM John Wick, 22-1. I was surprised to see you use this one in the second spot.
Yeah, I just looked at this race, and first of all, we always talk about the rail, right? These high 5s. So, like, when the money's down in a carryover situation, we can't get away from the rail spot, especially if we're going to get some value there. Last 2 were against Tougher. Both of them, weren't the greatest efforts, but this is now a third start back after, a lengthy, time away. So I thought that he's going to be at his best tonight. He has the rail to work from now. I don't think he's going to give up too many spots off the gate. He's going to be, somewhere in the mix throughout. If he can stick around for a big piece of it, he's going to help it pay. And right now, I didn't expect 20-1. I thought he'd be more like 8-1 or 9-1. So I'm just hoping we see the best version of DM John Wick. We saw him race pretty well, quite a few times last season. Again, not sure he can win this race, but I think he can get a big piece of it.
Number 2, Uncontrollable, tired a bit late last time out, but also April 13th was able to romp all the way on top from post 7. Now post 2. I expect this one to maybe make the lead, 11-1.
I mean, has the speed to do so, the credentials to do so. I mean, it might just be, him, trying to cross over in front of DM John Wick, and he might have some pressure at the outside. I mean, Hervey Hanover can leave if he wants to. He's usually better off a helmet, maybe even first up. Bugsy McGuire has foot off the gate. So does Harper's Hat-Trick, and Ham Sandwich is an interesting one from out there in post 7 now for early foot. But I do think that, Uncontrollable should be the first turn leader. Got a big breather last time and couldn't really, withstand pressure late. So, I think 11-1, you've got to use him underneath. I think he's got every chance to land somewhere there. But another one that I think will have a hard time, getting to the business end of this.
I want to talk about number 6, Harper's Hat-Trick, next instead of your 4th one, Bugsy McGuire. I used this one for second. Would love to see the pick 5 come in because I have 4 in here, and that's the highest paying of the 4. But Chris Haskell, 1 in the 4th, and maybe Harper's Hat-Trick in the 5th.
Now he's not out of it in here. He's a horse that certainly you look at his paper. He's good enough to go with these all day. The post was the concern, but now he does move in his spot to post five. Got beat a neck last time to Sportsline. I think we'd be okay with Sportsline against this group. And he's versatile. He can go towards the front, get forwardly placed, or he can race off a helmet. So 6-1, not a bad number on him, and I don't think he's without a chance in here.
And five, Bugsy McGuire getting a lot of coin.
Yeah, a lot of coin and too much for me, I think. This to me, same class, I think tougher group, no rail to work from. 40 cents to the dollar last time. I think he should be about, 4-1 in here, so not 8-5.
Well, it is a field of eight for race number 5. Shaking up their positions, the Linamar Patio Party Pace. DM Johnwick, uncontrollable on the inside. In the center, Hervey Hanover, Bugsy McGuire, and Harper's Hat-Trick. To the outside, Real Wicked and Ham Sandwich. Second here, Easton Beach, a field of 8. Race number 5 on a manic Monday at the river. Here they come. And the field for race number 5 is gathering speed, approaching the start. And they're off. Uncontrollable. DM Johnwig. Bugsy McGuire. Ham Sandwich on the outside is also firing early as they race their way into the backstretch. Uncontrollable. Ham Sandwich is looking to drive right out now. And Ham Sandwich is going to clear to the front. Uncontrollable is second. Bugsy McGuire third. Then DM Johnwig and Easton Beach. Hervey Hanover gets away, racing third from last in front of Harper's Hat-Trick and Real Wicked. And now coming around to reclaim the lead is Uncontrollable. Uncontrollable at 9-1 has taken control. And then racing second, Ham Sandwich is munching along in the pocket. Bugsy McGuire is third. DM Johnwick, Easton Beach, and then Hervey Hanover. Back to the trailing pair, Harper's Hat-Trick and Real Wicked. 27-3 the opening quarter. Uncontrollable has the lead as they race up towards us, and Ham Sandwich looking alive in the pocket. And then racing position on the outside. Now DM Johnwick is coming to call rapidly. It is DM Johnwick against Uncontrollable as they work their way past the 5/8, and then Ham Sandwich is third, and now Hervey Hanover on the outside. Might have flattened out just a little bit. Bugsy McGuire's racing fourth, Hervey Hanover fifth, and then Easton Beach on the inside. Harper's Hat-Trick has just one beaten, and that's Real Wicked. Uncontrollable at 9-1 is now starting to sprint away a little bit and leads it by 2 1/4 over DM Johnwick. And then racing on the inside is Ham Sandwich. Now Bugsy McGuire is rolling out 3 wide, taking second, but it's about 5 off the lead of Uncontrollable, who right now has a lot of control of this field as they turn on down the stretch drive. Uncontrollable, Bugsy McGuire, DM Johnwick, Harper's Hat-Trick, and Hervey Hanover, but Uncontrollable at 9-1 was able to grab control and keep it. Then Bugsy McGuire finishing third, Hervey Hanover close for fourth, 153 flat. Uncontrollable. That was very, very impressive.
It really was, Gary. And you know what? Listen, I said last time this horse, went to the front, had things his own way, and ended up, fading back to third in a race won by Capitano Italiano. But this time around, it didn't, get things his own way so much. Had to work for it. Let you know, Ham Sandwich come around in the early going, came right back around that one, and then yeah, huge third quarter, and then big mile too. I mean, this race was all over. You could see this horse's body language tonight was on fire, and wins it at a big price. This is going to be a nice little payout here, no question about it. You got a couple of favorites, sandwiched in between, and then I think DM Johnwick actually held on for fourth. I thought he'd get a piece of it, and I think he just hung on for fourth there at the end. So this should be a nice payout. And Uncontrollable, a horse that was morning line favorite, goes off at a pretty big number on the board.
Well, I'm glad I used a key in the pick 5 back in the third in a race that allowed me to spend more money here in the 5th race. It took 4 of them, and the 2 Uncontrollable was my third choice. I mean, I wasn't sold on them, but at least I was able to broaden out.
Still cashing tickets, Gary? Another pick 5 for you? That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I don't get that many pick 5s, so I'll take one here. It's not going to be that big a price. I think it's $100 110 or something for a buck.
Still all right, but with authority, right? Uncontrollable, like we said, the 9-1 on top. You get the two favorites in between. Your Harper's hat trick actually gets up for fifth as well. So interesting to see what this pays. I mean, it should be pretty good without Bugsy McGuire, Herbie Hanover getting the job done.
Uncontrollable at 9-1 will score a mile of 153 flat. Uncontrollable. 5-year-old Control the Moment Bay Gelding, owned by Steve Perot and Joanne Deschamplain. Gerard Demers, the trainer. Travis Henry, the winning driver. Just the second win of the year, seventh lifetime. Uncontrollable. 153 flat. A new season's best. The fifth race payouts to Uncontrollable, $20, $5.80, and $3. Number 5, Bugs McGuire, 270, 210. 3, Hervey Hanover, 210. $2 exactor, 44.20. Dollar try, 56.20. Dollar pick 3, 12.90. Dollar win for 41.20. Dollar pick 5, 119.30. And the dollar high five, 725.70. The fifth race, order of finish from the top down, 413 scratch 25687. That's 413 scratch 25687.
Just 2 minutes till the horse will be moving out onto the track for race number 6. Gonna get to the late pick 5, but first, thank you for the support of the Super High 5 there. Nice carryover going into it, but almost $11,000 of new money was wagered in it. So thank you so much for the support, folks. And nice payout, 20-cent ticket was 145 and change. But here we go. Late pick 5, and mine's going to be pretty thin throughout. I'm going to be singling up in 3 of these legs, starting right here, the Six Devils Peak for the Red Hot Barn of Isaac Waxman. Nice win last time off cover, won by much as he pleased. I think he can do it again tonight. That's why he's singled on my ticket. 1, 3, 5, and 7 in race number 7. A nice looking trotting event. Quite a bit of horse in there. I think can exit with that victory. Willie Arwoni has been on the outside of the gate, but I think he's usable. But you got to have some others in there with him. So the 6 in race number 8 is Siri Sealster. She was an easiest kind of winner last time, and more than 10 lengths. She'll be the only one on my ticket in that race. Race number 9, the 3 and 5, Santana Hanover first start. Richard Moreau, the 5 called in sick. Everyone knows how much I love that horse. He always comes to play. I think he's got a big chance again tonight. Race number 10, the Muddy Leg singled up an Ideal Perception. I'm thinking he's going to go down the road tonight. Won't have to work from that difficult post 8. Post 5, much better for him. $1.60 for my 20-cent ticket. Let's see what Gary Guy, the big pick 5 winner, has in store for us.
Well, small pick 5. But listen, at least I have some money to spend, so I spent a lot more money here. And I used 2 of your keys, but in this leg here, I also added Simon Said and Hello Rocky. Then broadened out in the 7th race, because I think there's a lot of wide open possibilities there, although I do have Coming Fashion as my winner. In the 8th race, yeah, just turned the page. I just think Siri Sealster, she really spoke to me last time out. In the 9th race, well, 2, 3, and 5. So added one extra, Night Shadow, with Called in Sick and Santana Hanover. In the 10th race, yeah, Ideal Perception. Kaboom shakalaka. I think just going to get away on the field.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so we're kind of in agreement, right? We got 2 singles the same. You're going to use a couple more in here, but in any event, same but different the way we usually play it. Start mapping out your winning tickets, folks. It's going to get started real soon here. The late pick 5, always a fun wager. We'll come back, take a closer look at race number 6 after the post parade.
Field on post parade for race number 6-1, Serial Killer, Scotty Colder, Courtney Robson. Number 2, Fernhill Breeze, Anthony Hahn for Bruce Goyd and Michelle Bohr. There is 4, Simon Said, Eddie Hensley for Joe Squires and Bobby Weinhold Harris. And number 5 is Hello Rocky, Brett McDonough for Boyd Wilson. Number 6, Devil's Peak, Travis Henry for Isaac Waxman and Carmelo Shime. 8 is Examiner Hanover, Talbot for Francis Gilmatz. And 9, The Dog in the Fight, Jason Ryan for Gary Lee. Note that 3 is Coin Flip, Jay Harris for Mitchell Tierney and Robert Woodburn. Field of 8, race 6, scratch to 7, Redneck Jim. And let's get a quick look at this field. And, well, right away, number 6, Devil's Peak, certainly coming in off of peak perform last time out, and 6-5 here.
Yeah, I think he's the worthy favorite. I mean, he's hard to go against, and obviously, Redneck Jim comes out of this race. I thought that was maybe the best chance to beat him. He was a winner last night at Georgian Downs. That would have been a pretty quick turnaround for that one. He scratched out of it, but Devil's Peak, to me, raced off a helmet last time, and you could see he was swelling up. And when he made his wide move, it was race over. He converted at 50 cents to the dollar and really paced away from his rivals. He's won two of his last three, Gary, and both those came over a half-mile surface. And he's a versatile type too, right? He can go to the lead, or he can, attack you from just off the pace. So 4 to 5 right now. No surprise for me. I think maybe you're on the right track using a couple others in here to try to upset him. But for me, I didn't want to waste any equity. I just wanted to single him. Let's me play the ticket a few more times, and I think he's going to be real tough to beat in here from a barn that's just had incredible success this season.
Well, at this point, I think we agree now that Simon Said is the most likely one that can upset. Now, can race from off the pace, but Simon Said, 46 career wins.
46 career wins in great form too, right? For Joe Squires. I mean, you look at that last win, gets up by a neck after getting away seventh off the gate at Georgian, home in 57-2. Before that, second to So Strange and was beat by a slim margin to Hello Rocky, who's in this race as well. But three back. So you look at his recent form and you say it's really hard to go against one like him. But I think he hooks one that is even better in Devil's Peak, and I think those three obviously they're taking all the support right now, and they're the ones that should decide it in the end. And when you look at it, Simon Said is one that kind of needs some flow, some help in the flow, but he's also got forwardly placed, in lines you don't see in his program page. Those most recent posts are 7, 6, 8, and 7. Pretty difficult spots to leave from. This time around, he gets a little bit of a better position on the gate, and the horses to his inside are all double digits, right? So who knows? Maybe he tries to step away from those ones off the gate and get a better spot off the switch tonight.
Number 5, Hello Rocky, has said goodbye to the barn each of the last 4 races, claimed out of each one, and certainly shows enough form to be a possible threat.
Yeah, and for this barn 3 starts ago, went a long way in the lead at Mohawk Park before only getting beat by a head to point to Sweet Lou, 8-5 on that occasion. And what I liked about him in those 2 starts before that, for a different barn, was first over a long way before winning. And then last time, kind of got away sixth, wasn't able to really get into the race too much, and then couldn't keep up with Devil's Peak before coming around horses to finish second. But he was a clear cut second, right? He was clearly the best of the rest. So I think that he should have every chance to land on the trifecta today. Maybe make some noise against the other two if the trip is right. I think it's going to come down to trip, but I've got Hello Rocky in the bottom end of the trifecta.
And then who for 4th?
It gets tough now. I mean, I would probably lean in the direction of maybe Fernhill Breeze. Fernhill Breeze has won the two, 24-1 right now. On the screen right now, ears up going to the gate, but I almost use this horse in a better position. Broke last time, so that line's a little deceiving against a decent group at Hanover. Before that was competitive in against similar types that he's facing tonight. Inside post, he gets the edge over a lot of the favorites in here, so I'm thinking maybe he can pick up a share.
I'll throw in Examiner Hanover just because I know he's better than the last couple races, but worst post position. Serial Killer is on the inside with Fernhill Breeze in the center. Coin flip, Simon Said. And Hello Rocky to the outside, Devil's Peak and Examiner Hanover, and the dog in the fight from the trailer post. It's a field of 8. 6th dash on a Monday night at the river. They're gathering speed. There at the start of the rough, and Simon Said will get out well. Examiner Hanover comes flying on the outside. Examiner Hanover is going to come out and get the lead. Simon Said, and now on the outside, Devil's Peak is racing third and is trying to drive towards the lead. Devil's Peak second and coming after Examiner Hanover. Examiner Hanover, Devil's Peak. Simon Said, then a gap, and then Serial Killer fourth, and then Fernhill Breeze. And Devil's Peak still driving on the outside against Examiner Hanover. Devil's Peak now leads a length and a quarter, length and a half, and is able to clear to the front. Examiner Hanover got it well from an outside post and is filling the pocket. Simon Said is third. Then Serial Killer, Fernhill Breeze, and then the dog in the fight. Hello Rocky and Coin Flip, and they race off the turn. Devil's Peak has got the lead. Examiner Hanover's in the pocket, and Simon Said is racing third. And now Simon Said, Eddie Hensley says, let's get off the pylons and come a moving. Fernhill Breeze is following on the outside, and Serial Killer's up the inside. And then it is back to the dog in the fight, and Coin Flip, and to the outside, trailing the field is Hello Rocky. Devil's Peak at 3 to 5 on the board. Simon Said is closing ground. Simon Said in pursuit of Devil's Peak. Devil's Peak by just ahead. Simon Said now on even terms. Simon Said sticks a nose in front of that half of 56 and 3. Simon Said and Devil's Peak, and then Fernhill Breeze on the outside. Simon Said slim lead, but fighting back. Devil's Peak is still in the hunt and is game on the inside. Now those two share the lead again. Fernhill Breeze is sent out 3 wide, and then Examiner Hanover's been braving up on the inside, bravening up and looking for the passing lane, and then it is the dog in the fight and Serial Killer on down the stretch. Round they come. Devil's Peak is digging in. Examiner Hanover to the outside. Fernhill Breeze. Devil's Peak wins it. Fernhill Breeze was second. Then the dog in the fight, and Examiner Hanover. Devil's Peak got severely tested for a 3 to 5 horse, but was game and lived up to that billing, Rob.
It's one of those ones, Gary, when you're watching the final turn there, you're thinking, uh-oh, it looks like Simon Said's going to go by. And then you just think, you know what, if he can just get to the turn, even with that horse or even down a little bit, he might bite back. And just pure determination for Devil's Peak, right? A horse that's been obviously feeling really good about himself lately. He's won 2 of his last 3 coming into this. Now he's won 3 out of 4 and just battled back on the inside and fought on for the victory. I'm sure a lot of people were sweating that out, approaching the final turn there when Simon Said was nose to nose with him. But he ends up, battling on for the victory. And, Fernhill Breeze, a horse that I thought had, a big chance to land somewhere underneath, a big effort there to finish second, and this try, in Super should pay pretty handsomely when getting, when you have 3 horses that take that much support for the 4, 5, and 6. If you get, one of them off of it, it's certainly going to pay a lot better. So we'll see. We'll see how it comes in here. But Devil's Peak converts to the favorite.
Well, and you threw in the Fernhill Breeze, and I threw in Examiner Hanover, and I knew the problem was the post position, but I tell you, one of these days he's going to get back to a better post.
Yeah, yes, I thought he raced great. I really did. I thought he raced really well. Blasting out of there, taking on Devil's Peak in the early going, and just this horse is just too good right now, right, for the better of. But when you look at it right there, I mean, this try and Super should pay fantastic, right? A lot of people like it when you play a favorite on top, look for bombs underneath. Well, there you have it, 3 to 5 on top, and monstrous prices in the second, third, and fourth spot.
6-2-8-9, top 4, and Devil's Peak back in front of us. 9-year-old Camblock Bay Gelding, owned by Carmelo Shime. Isaac Waxman is the trainer, and Travis Henry the winning drive. It's the 5th win this year, 24th lifetime. Devil's Peak, 155 and 4. The sixth race payout, 6 Devils Peak 320, 290, 240. 2 Fernhill Breeze 26.50 and 11.50, and 8 Examiner Hanover 6.30. $2 exactor 64.90. Dollar try 256.50. 20-cent super 2019.84. The sixth race, order of finish from the top, 627581, scratch 34. That's 627581, scratch 34.
3 minutes till race number 7. The late pick 5 starts off with the favorite getting the job done, Devil's Peak. So many are still likely alive in that wager, but don't sleep on the late pick 4. Getting started right here in race 7. Low takeout, 15%. 20 cent bet minimums in effect. And there's my ticket right there for that 20-cent wager. I'm going 4 deep using half the field in this trotting event. I like the fixer from the rail. But I thought that this looks like a pretty competitive field, so I'm going 1, 3, 5, and 7. I think that Sheena Soldier is one that's been racing well lately. I think that Andy Over, he loves getting back on a half, and we'll see what he can do tonight from post 5. Right now, 4-1 on the board. And Willie or won't he? I mean, a horse that has to work from that difficult post, but was a winner from post 7 to back here at the river. So 1, 3, 5, and 7 for me in this opening leg. The next leg, there's no looking past the 6 series. Sealster for me could not have won any easier last time. Was under tight lines to Jason Ryan and still won by more than 10 lengths. And 58-4 is 1-9 favorite. Does step up in class, I guess you could say, but still facing mostly maiden company, and I think she doubles up with ease in there from post 6. Race number 9, I think it's a 2-horse race. Night Shadow comes over from Mohawk Park. I'm not so sure how much he's going to like the half-mile surface here at Grand River. That's why I kind of steered clear of him. I went with the 3 and 5. The 3 Santana Sealster first start. Richard Moreau last time didn't have much of a chance from post 7. Ended up finishing 4th to Calden Sick as the favorite. Calden Sick, though, I can't go against him. He's, it looks like he's back to his old self and was an easy winner last time. And I think that, for me, I'm willing to come right back to him to double up. And Brett McDonald jumping off, but he drives a lot for Richard Moreau, so there's no surprise there. So Calden Sick for me is on top, but I'm using both in the 3 and 5 in race 9. And then race 10, I'm going with Ideal Perception. I think he might be a slam dunk in there. Post 8 last time in the preferred, sliding inside some spots. Now the top condition class. Look what he did two back in this at this level. He just absolutely crushed them from post 3, and it was never in doubt. I think he does the same thing tonight, leaves no doubts about it. And when he gets to the lead, he's at his absolute best. Just $1.60 for a 20-cent wager. The same price as that pick 5 ticket that keyed off on Devil's Peak in the opening leg. But you've got just a couple minutes to map out your winning wagers for this late pick 4. We'll come back in just a few moments to break down race number 7.
Field on parade for the 7th. 1, the fixer, Scott Culliver, David Fry. Number 2, Coming Fashion, Anthony Hunt for Pam Forkey and Triple S Equine. And 3, Sheena Soldier, Todd Moore for Tim Cherwaco and Gary Green. And 4 is CrossFit, Jason Ryan for Vic Putty and Gord McDonald and Christopher Boland. 5 is Andy over. Eddie Hensley for Ashley Hensley. And 6, Run Like Hill, Travis Henry for Francis Guillemette. 7 is Willie or Won't He, Steve Houdon for Kyle Wassons and Phil McGuire. And the break is Lions Wish, Brett Madonna for Francis Guillemette and Peter Dallas. Field of 8, race number 7, a condition field of trotters. And Rob, we both thought this is a more wide open dash than the tote board is trying to tell us. The Fixer is your top one, but 4 to 5.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a wide open event too, Gary. And listen, I get the angle on the Fixer, right? Preferred in each of his last two here at the river. Now down to the top condition class rail to work from. You look down, you see that line. Four starts to go at Flamborough Downs, right to the lead from post four, and just crush them. But there's some decent competition for him to go up against in this race. And uh, rail control, yeah, you got to respect it here. He does have tactical speed. He's a horse that doesn't need the front to win. Let's get on the track right now, but the price is too short, in my opinion. I, thought, true odds on him in here would be about 5 to 2. And again, 4 to 5 is nowhere near that. So I'm happy to look elsewhere in a win ticket, but obviously I've got the Fixer in both my pick 4 and pick 5.
And then your second choice, Andy Over, was really good last year. Hasn't quite been as good this year. Well, more than just not quite as good. Clearly not as good. But Andy Over, Eddie Hensley, this is one that shows maybe some signs of being better.
I think so. I thought that, his last effort, he's parked a long way before finishing fourth to Villefranche, and, Willie Roney was second in that race. Before that, dealing with Dewey, runner up to that one. I think that you can look at him and say, okay, well, based on who he's been racing against and what he's been doing, he should be more than competitive against this group. But what I really like about him is that I believe he really steps his game up sometimes on a half mile surface. I saw some really nice efforts from him at Western Fair this season. One of those wins is his quickest time of the year, 58-1, was over that surface, and I think that getting back on a half is back to his strong point. I really believe that. So I didn't think we get 6 to 1, but 4 to 1 is not bad. So I'm more than happy to look at him right now on the business end of this, given the discrepancy in odds. I was not expecting it to be the margin to be that big. And didn't think the fixture would be 1 to 2. So I'd be looking elsewhere right now to win ticket. Andy Over for me at 4 to 1 is not a bad place to go shopping.
Sheena Soldier has been a lot better of late. 3 runner-up finishes in the past 4, and he's kind of proved that he can handle tougher than I thought he could.
Yeah, in a horse that I've seen win from off the pace in the past, but lately, he does his best work when he goes to the front or he sits a trip. It's going to be interesting off the gate because the Fixer can leave, if that's kind of the strategy tonight with him. But Machina Soldier is one that can really ramble off the wings of the gate. You see a lot of ones the opening quarter there. Second place finishes, the decent horses too. Run Like Hill, Lucas. I think that Sheena Soldier can really be a big part of this, and you're getting right now 11 to 1. Another horse that I thought would take a little more support than he is right now. And again, I mean, it's all because right now the fixture's taking all the action at 1 to 2, but it gives you as a gambler opportunities to look for value elsewhere. As Sheena Soldier sporting it as well.
Number 2, Coming Fashion, I want to mention because maybe you've noticed. I took this one on top. It's a bit of a hunch play.
Yeah, Coming Fashion is one that I know a few others that like him in here as well, and the paper is certainly good enough right now. I just thought this, even though Coming preferred, this is still maybe a little bit above his head, right? He was bombs away in both those last 2 races. We'll see how he does tonight. I thought maybe a smaller share.
Well, the Fixer, 1 to 2 on the board, certainly lower than we both would have thought, and getting a lot of love. The Fixer, Coming Fashion, Sheena Soldier to the inside. In the center, CrossFit and Andy Over. The outside, Run Like Hill, Willie Orwati, and Lions Wish. It's a field of 8 trotters for the 7th dash. They're all moving into position. They're at the starts. And the fixer will leave hard with Sheena Soldier and Andy Over as they head on into the turn. Then coming Fashion and Willie or Won't He. But it is the fixer right now who's got the lead. The fixer, Sheena Soldier. Andy Over still working on the outside. And coming Fashion has come away fourth. Willie or Won't He. Then it is back to CrossFit, Run Like Hill, and Lions Wish. The fixer is leading right now by about 3 lengths over Andy Over. And then Sheena Soldier third. Coming Fashion fourth. And then Willie or Won't He in CrossFit, Run Like Hill, and Lions Wish, and it is the fixer who's got the lead. The fixer with a lead of a length and a half right now. Andy Over now tightens up a bit in the pocket. And Sheena Soldier is racing on the inside, 3 lengths from the lead. And Coming Fashion has moved out. And Coming Fashion is going to be coming first over. It is the fixer as they race off the turn. The fixer and Andy Over. And then on the outside, Coming Fashion is coming after the fixer as they race their way on past the half. 27-4 opening quarter, and the half was 59-2. Nice breather for the fixer. Coming Fashion on the outside is going to grind first over, and then Andy Over is on the inside third, then Sheena Soldier in CrossFit, and then Willie or Won't He and Run Like Hill and Lions Wish. It is the fixer, and Coming Fashion is trying to close, but the fixer got a very nice second panel breather, and it looks very fresh on the lead. Coming Fashion is a length back, and on the inside, Andy Over from the backfield. Run Like Hill now is coming, and then Sheena Soldier. Then it is Willie or Won't He in CrossFit, and back to Lions Wish. It is the fixer, and Coming Over hasn't thrown in the towel just yet. Is still about a length and a quarter back, though. Then Andy Over, Willie or Won't He and Run Like Hill on down the stretch route they come. The fixer is dug in gamely. Andy Over, Coming Fashion. The fixer is your winner. Then Andy Over in Coming Fashion, and Willie or Won't He 158 flat off a half of 59-2. The fixer at 3-5. Things really worked out well for Scotty Coulter.
They did. I mean, real control, early foot two off the switch. He displayed that tonight. 27-4 to the quarter, but that second quarter, like you said, that breather was really what the difference was here. But I mean, he's opening up and winning with ease, right? I mean, Osborne was right. I mean, had the horse on top, but not the result you're looking for when you go 4 deep in the pick 5 and pick 4, Gary. But a well-deserved effort in the end. I mean, it wasn't like anyone was getting near him. Andy Over, I thought, had a big shot of the 2-hole, took all kinds of late money too, down to 2-1, but couldn't stay with him. I mean, barely held on for a second. In the end there, but over Your Coming Fashion, actually, who produced a really nice effort, 18-1, first over a long way.
Yeah, that's probably one that you have to watch out of here. We knew the fixer would be really good, and Andy Over we thought was second best in here, but Coming Fashion did a lot of hard work against a horse who had all the reason to not be passed.
Yeah, progressing really well, Coming Fashion. A horse that was in for an optional tag of 18,000 April 21st, and had a miscue and a 7th place finish since then. But then after those, racked up a victory, and now has been racing really well. A couple of decent efforts at the preferred level, and now third here tonight, missing by a nose really for second to Andy Over. Horse certainly progressing nicely, and one we'll watch for next time.
And we both liked Willie or Won't He on the ticket, and despite the post, he can get off the gate well. 16-1 to round out the ticket, but it's a 1-5-2-7, and coming back in front of us will be number 1, the fixer, 7-year-old Trixton. Bay Gelding, owned by a numbered company. David Fry is the trainer. It's the 4th win this year, 21st lifetime of the driving win to Scotty Coulter. Second on the evening, and for the Tan Tornado. The 7th race payouts: 1, the fixer, 330, 260, 210. 5, Andy Over, 310, 240. 2, Coming Fashion, 410. $2 exactor, $770. Dollar try, $20.65. Super 100, $37.95. the seventh race. Order of finish from the top down 13672 548. That's 13672 548. field for the eighth on parade. 1, Lambertine, Gary Rive for Matthew Rive Bohenic. Number 3 is How Will I Know, Jay Harris for Jean Tournier and Jimondu. And 4 is Better is Passion, Brett McDonald for Bruce McDonald and Martin Stables and Craig Walwyn. Number 5 is On Top Are You Elegant, Scott Calder for Walter Whalen and Chris Nickel. And number 6 Series Sealster, Jason Ryan for Ben Wallace and Wallace Standards and Terry Krawick. 7 Fashion Forward, Anthony Hahn. Drives for Meg Crone and Hut Racing. And 8 is Krytel Shadow Garrett Rooney for Fred Drillard. Note that number 2 is Best Show Samuel Filia for Ashley Lenvoy and Gino Toscani. It's a field of 8 for race number 8. Fillies and Mares on the pace, and 1 to 5 on the board on number 6 Series Sealster. Doesn't surprise me at all, Rob.
No, it doesn't surprise me either, and I think we'll see this one going off maybe the shortest price possible, just off that latest victory, right? I mean, went off at 1-9 in that effort, had shown some really good speed at Mohawk Park in previous efforts, and hadn't raced in about just over 2 weeks anyways of a vet scratch sick. And never was in doubt last time, and was under wraps really to Jason Ryan the entire mile. And right now he looks he's got a mitt full out there again. Her ears are up. She looks pretty proud of herself out there. And when I looked at this race, I didn't really see anything that could really contend with her, at least on the win end of it. And I think that she kind of just makes her own destiny here. Probably goes forward off the gates. Won't be too long before she gets to the lead anyways in this contest.
By the way, whenever I'm using maps and Siri speaking, I always mute Siri. She's annoying. Number 7, Fashion Forward. You know what jumps out? The 56-second back half of the May 12th qualifier.
Yeah, it does, and we see these horses from the Meg Crone barn. They get progressively better, and I thought when I watched this one's replays that she's gotten better in each of her efforts. And last time post 8 at Georgian, it was Overland for a bit of it. I thought came home decently enough. I thought that she kind of fits with this group. The problem is post 7, right? And it doesn't get much better for her from out there. It looks okay on the track right now. The qualifier, she only got beat just over 2 lengths to Series Sealster, and like you said, home in 27-1 and a solid back half and 56 flats. So I think right kind of trip. She's the horse you want to be using underneath, but the only thing that concerns me is the post.
Well, number 5, On Top Are You Elegant. Been off a long while, but those starts, they're kind of elegant.
They are, actually. I was quite fond of this horse, and in a few of those efforts at the raceway at Western Fair, and I thought that she's got a little bit of go. Now she hasn't raced in a long time. She does have 3 qualifiers under her belt. What I don't like is that it's been a while since even those have taken place. But 9-1 right now. I'd even maybe interchange her and the 7 Fashion Forward as the main players underneath, but that's the way they're kind of betting it, so that's not like we're reinventing the wheel. On Top Are You Elegant, I think definitely has the ability to make some noise against this group. I just don't think she can go with Series Sealster, especially off the bench.
And then number 2, Best Show. The question is, which filly is going to show up here? The one that was really good back in April and May, or the one that's been not so good of late?
Yeah, he hasn't really had much to offer as of late. Now, difficult posts in 2 of her last 3, but last time post 4 and wasn't able to stay close to Joyful Lady or Run Baby. I think just with her, it's just going to be get away off the gate, sit on the inside, hide it along the pylons and try to get a piece of it. A little bit surprised that she's the second choice in the betting right now because, her last few efforts leave a little bit to be desired. But I think definitely in for a big chance to get a piece of it. But I'd be looking to the 5 and 7 as my main players underneath.
Well, and we both have 7 Fashion Forward as our second choice at 13-1. But number 6, Series Sealster, 1 to 5, and just about where you might have had to think the odds would end up being. La Montagne, Best Show on the inside with How Will I Know. In the center, Better's Fashion. On Top Are You Elegant to the outside, Series Sealster, Fashion Forward, and Krytel Shadow. It's a field of 8. It's race number 8. Here they come. And they're at the start of the rough, and quickly Best Show comes out well. Best Show, Siri Sealster, and the outside Fashion Forward is leaving. And on the inside now, Lamontagne. It is Lamontagne who's got a lead over Siri Sealster, who's still pressing on the outside. And Siri Sealster relaxed on the outside, just scooting up now and looking to clear to the front of her, Lamontagne. And it is going to be Siri Sealster, 1-9 on the board, who takes the lead. Lamontagne is second. Fashion Forward is forwardly placed third. And then Best Show is racing fourth. Then it is back to Better's Passion. How will I know? On top are You Elegant, and Crytel's Shadow is trailing the field. Siri Sealster, 1-9 on the board as they race the way off the turn. Siri Sealster, Jason Ryan sitting very relaxed in the bike with a lead of a couple of lengths over Lamontagne and Gary Rivet. Fashion Forward and Anthony Hahn is going to stay on the inside as here comes How Will I Know on the move on the outside now for Jay Harris, and is quickly moving up and is now trying to take over second and grab it from Lamontagne. And then racing fourth on the inside is Fashion Forward. To the outside fifth is Best Show. Then Better's Passion. On top are You Elegant and Crytel's Shadow. Siri Sealster leads by about 4. How Will I Know is second. 1 minute flat the halftime, equal splits of 30 seconds, and Siri Sealster, Fashion Forward now is popped out and is coming forward, has taken over second. How Will I Know is racing third, then Best Show and Lamontagne, but it is Siri Sealster. Fashion Forward is closing, and Siri Sealster might have to pick up the challenge here of Fashion Forward off 3/4 of 128 and 4, 28 and 4 third panel. Siri Sealster and Fashion Forward, they duel on down the lane. Siri Sealster is dug in gamely, but Fashion Forward is still digging, but it is going to be Siri Sealster to withstand the test of Fashion Forward. Those two are clearly the best, and then Best Show, and on top Are You Elegant, 157 and 3 off a half of 1 minute. Siri Sealster got a nice little test there, but still proved that, well, she's the best.
Yeah, she did prove it. I mean, Gary, you could see Jason Ryan just kind of let her out a little notch on the turn there. She kind of dug back in, fought back, and it wasn't really under a ton of urging coming to the wire. I think on the end of that it was kind of measured, but no doubt about it. Fashion Forward, huge effort, left out with Siri Sealster, got away and then kind of got jammed up in behind a long bomb that was kind of shortening stride. Did get to the outside, and when she came to the outside, I mean, she was kind of launched out of a cannon. How quickly she came up, back into contention alongside Siri Sealster, and it was a nice little, stretch battle. I mean, they were clearly the best of the group by many lengths, and it was nice to see someone push Siri Sealster to that mile of 57 and 3.
Yeah, that's certainly Fashion Forward's one to keep in mind for next time out, because works out of a strong barn that of Meg Crone, and one that could move forward off of that race.
Yeah, and that's what I said about horses I see racer Meg Crone. They kind of get better every start, and then at some point they make a big leap forward, and that's what we saw from Fashion Forward tonight. And I think we're just going to see that filly get better each time she goes behind the gate, because post 7 to leave out like that, make multiple moves, and be right there with one like Siri Sealster at 1-9. That's an impressive effort.
Listen, your top four were 6-7-5-2, and it comes 6-7-2-5. So what do you know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, I mean, 1-9 shot on top, anyways. I mean, nothing to write home about. But on top, Are You Elegance one I would watch going forward as well. She'll just get better with each start, I think.
It's 6-7-2-5. Back in front of us is number 6, Siri Sealster, a 3-year-old sports rider Bay filly owned by Wallace Standardbreds and Terry Crawwick. Ben Wallace, the trainer. Jason Ryan, the winning driver. Second win for Siri Sealster, second in a row. 157 and 3. Eighth race payout 6 series filter 210, 210, 210. 7 fashion forward 730, 250. 2 best show 340. $2 exact or $960. Try 1120. $1 super 34.55. Eighth race. Order of finish from the top 736-54128. That's 736-54128 on the bottom. Field for the ninth on Parade 1, somewhere in Tuscany. Steve Hudon for Laura Toscani and Gino Toscani. Number 2 is Night Shadow, Anthony Hahn for Ben Wallace and JMR Racing. 3 is Santana Hanover, Brett McDonough for Richard Moreau and Dominic Chiravelli. And number 4 is Scribblers, Jason Ryan for Paul Reed and the Can-Am crew. 5 called in sick, Austin Sorry for Tim Myers and David O'Macaulay. Number 6, Thong Control, Sylvain Filion for Jean Tourigny. Number 7, Delightful Leader, Jay Harris for Melissa Lamoureux. Field of 7, race number 9, Mom winners at 3 pace, a good-looking field, and we're going to go right to called in sick. And Austin, sorry for Tim Myers, your top pick, Rob, and I do not understand the tote board. I thought this one would be the favorite, or at least maybe 5-2 or 2-1.
Yeah, I don't understand the price either. I was kind of thinking a moment ago, am I looking at the wrong race here? Because what has he done wrong? That's my question. I mean, it's not like he just jumped up out of nowhere and had that win last time. I mean, he put together a really nice campaign last year as a sophomore, went 9 for 17, all kinds of on the board finishes. He got off, needed a few starts under his feet this year. Was a real solid second in Mr. Beast two back, and then off a couple of weeks, he went out there and just crushed his competition at this level last week here at the River. So looks smart on the track right now. I thought that he'd be, likely 5-2 in here, maybe 3-1, just in case the 2 and 3 took a lot of the action. But I'm a little bit surprised, and I understand the support for Thong Control, I guess, but I think maybe seeing flashy times is what are getting people excited in that direction.
I used Santana Hanover on top, and look, I didn't like what I saw out of Santana Hanover last time out, but equipment change, new barn. I know there's a lot of talent in there, but got to look better than last time out, and I'm questioning why I took him on top, especially 3-year-old against a 4-year-old. You taught me that last week, and yet I haven't learned.
Yeah, I mean, look, right now it's offering us a big number to that angle, right? Look, Santana Hanover last year, remember Battle of Waterloo, incredible effort, right? First over, a long way on that one, and put together some really nice efforts after that too, and hit the board in 8 of 10, over 208,000 made. This year, though, 0 for 5 hasn't really done much. Obviously, has faced some tough competition in there. Last time out was stymied with a difficult post, right? Post 7, but should have been closer to called in sick at 90 cents to the dollar. Now you go to the top bar and Richard Moreau. Brett McDonald's going to be aboard, and that's a pairing. That's why I thought some people might think, oh, Brett's jumping off in favor of. He's always going to typically side with Moreau in these spots, and I think that's why he went there. So you have to like Santana Hanover's chances. I would say more so than last time, but I don't think the discrepancy in the odds board should be 2-1 versus 7-1. That to me is a little bit out there.
Number 2, Night Shadow, Anthony Hahn with the drive. And Night Shadow is one that you've seen a lot of, and certainly that last race, that's good speed mile.
Yeah, definitely a good speed mile, but again, over Mohawk Park, right? It's the bottom condition class there. Was beaten just over 4 lengths to stop the shooting, and I mean, you're going to see a lot of flashy times, right? Racing over that bigger surface. I'm not so sure, how much he's going to like the half here at the River, and that's what made me kind of shy away from him. In the top two, I think he's one that's got a chance with the right kind of trip, but I kind of want to see him once over this surface first, and we know what Santana Hanover and what Calden Sick can do, so. I was more than happy to lean in that direction.
I think people aren't respecting the effort that Scribblers put in here last time out.
Yeah, well, I think again, right now the odds board skewed with Thong Control taking so much of the action, and again coming out of this beach somewhere. Obviously, Stockade Sealshire would be a hefty favorite against anyone in this group. But yeah, Scribblers, got away in the 2 hole and sat a nice trip behind Calden Sick and maintained that position to the wire at 16-1. And before that was an easy winner in the Prospect Series and back-to-back efforts. So I think he can get a piece of it as well in here. But again, I'm more than happy to stick with Calden Sick, Gary. 5-1. I mean, I thought the price was going to start to plummet Hasn't done that yet. We dropped a couple of points, but it's a long way to go before we get to the number I thought he'd be.
Well, the starters called the field, and you're on 5 called in sick, who's still holding at 5-1. I'm on 3 Santana Hanover at 5-2, looking for a better start here with equipment change and Richard Moreau. Field of 7 taking up their positions somewhere in Tuscany. Night Shadow on the inside. Santana Hanover Scribblers and called in sick to the outside. Thong Control. Delightful leader. Field of 7. The ninth dash. It is post time. Giddy up. It's a field of 7 for the ninth race. They're into the stretch drive. They're at the start of the rough. Santana Hanover is going to come flying out with somewhere in Tuscany and Night Shadow. And Scribbler, Santana Hanover, is going to try to drive out and grab the early lead and has got it now. Somewhere in Tuscany, second. Scribbler's third. Night Shadow fourth, and then called in sixth on control. And delightful leader, Santana Hanover, sets up shop on top and fell down to 3-2 on the board. Somewhere in Tuscany at 31 is second. Scribblers is third. Night Shadow racing fourth, and then called in sick and thong control. And delightful leader, 27-3, the opening quarter, Santana Hanover. And Brett McDonald will now try to find a second panel breather. Somewhere in Tuscany is right there, content to ride the pocket. Scribblers to the inside third. And Night Shadow is racing fourth, and then called in sick and thong control. And delightful leader, it is Santana Hanover off a 27-3 opening quarter and leading by 2 1/4 at the halftime right now in 56-3 at 29 seconds. Second panel. Santana Hanover is moving well on top. Racing position second. Still somewhere in Tuscany. And then third is Scribblers, and scooting up the inside, called in sick, is fourth, about 6 off the lead. Then Night Shadow, Thong Control, and delightful leader. Santana Hanover and Brett McDonald still sitting very still in the bike as they race their way on toward 3/4 and has a lead right now with Santana Hanover of about 4 lengths, and then somewhere in Tuscany and Scribblers and Night Shadow and called in sick and Thong Control and delightful leader. Santana Hanover is pouring it on now and has opened a lead of 5 somewhere in Tuscany. Long shot at 31 is second, and racing third. Called in sick now is closing on somewhere in Tuscany, but long gone is Santana Hanover. Santana Hanover is going to win it. Called in sick was second, then somewhere in Tuscany and delightful leader. 153-1, Santana Hanover, a much different horse this week than last week, Rob.
Yeah, much different horse. Obviously, different post, different trip. There's a lot of different things that worked in his favor, right? You know, third time Lasix too. Obviously, first start Richard Moreau. You know, the top trainer around these parts, no question about it. And again, went to the lead and was kind of throttled down at the wire there. But I'll tell you this. You're going to see me go right back to one of my favorite horses on the B tracks next time out, called in sick. He really had no chance the way the race panned out. Not saying he would have got to this one anyways, but he ended up stuck on the pylons, and he was just mirrored in traffic for much of that mile. As soon as he got room, he was closing with some serious intent. So he's a horse I don't think likes to get beat or get beat by much, but a rock solid second at the end there.
And he did drop a long way, ended up being 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it probably should have played out as, right? They should have been the two horses that were, taking all the support in there. I mean, they look like the best two on paper. And, last time, obviously, post edge and trip edge went called in six way. This time it went Santana Hanover's way. It'd be nice to see them actually do it all over again. Because I think it'd be pretty close to the wire if they both got a fair trip against each other.
Well, 6 Thong Control took a lot of money early and then not so much money late, climbed up to 6-1. I didn't see the 6 getting into the top 4, and I'll tell you, that's the naked truth.
Yeah, I love the puns. I love them. And no, listen, I agree. I mean, I didn't get the money early. Floated up late. Never really into the contest. And Night Shadow, another one that I thought might have some trouble here at the river. Again, I just didn't think this was going to suit him tonight. He took money and missed the board as well. A couple of bombs underneath might help this pay.
It's a 3-5-1-7. Top four coming back in front of us is number three, Santana Hanover. 3-year-old Big Jim Bay gelding owned by Dominique Chiravelli, trained by Richard Moreau. It's the first win this year, third lifetime, Santana Hanover. The winning drive to Brad McDonald. Mutual price is 3 Santana Hanover, $5, 310, 250. 5 called in sick, $3, 230. And 1 somewhere in Tuscany, 570. $2 exact or 1170. Dollar dry, 36.20. $5 super, 232.55. Ninth race, Sora finished from the top down, 3617254. That's 3617254 on the bottom. Field for the 10th on parade. 1, Peel Oliver, Jason Ryan for Matt Dupuis. Number 2, Macho, Phil Austin, sorry for Sean, Stacy, and Hudson Stanibred. Number 3 is Love My Rockin' Bird, Travis Henry for Vic Putty and Limco Incorporated. 4 is Major A, Steve Houdon for Laura Toscani. 5, Ideal Perception, Anthony Hahn for Anthony Beaton and SSG Stables. Number 6, Bettor's Victory, Samuel Filyaw for Jason Sherman and Burton Betty Sherman. Number 7, J.J. Xavier, Jay Harris for Jean Tournier. 8 is Capitano Italiano, Brett McDonough for Nicky Comenia and Bruno Comenia. And 9 is Bettor's Dream, Garrett Rooney for Michelle Sherman and Kyle Stretch. Field of 9, race 10, the Super High 5. And let's get a look at 5 of these in here. And I know where we have to start. 5, Ideal Perception, and Team Anthony here.
Yeah, I can't look past Ideal Perception, Gary, because, I mean, you look at the line 2 back, right? In this class, post rock. One. I mean, it's not like he raced poorly to finish fourth. You got away fourth off the gate from post 8, which we know is impossible here. Then he was first over a long way before being a respectable fourth, beaten just over 4 lengths to Respect Our Flag, who turned in a huge effort on that occasion. So I looked at this race and said, okay, void of the ones that he had to go up against last time, softer spot, and he'll likely go to the lead again. Looks like a truck on the track right now. I'm surprised he's 4-5. I think he should take more support than that. And I actually thought this pick 5 would be paying less than it is. I mean, I know it's not paying anything to write home about, but it's been pretty chalky throughout the sequence.
Yeah, and you mentioned Ideal Perception loves it here. He puts in some of his strongest performances here. Others to look at, we both think that 1, P.L. Oliver is the next one.
Yeah, and I think rail control, right? That's what you have to look at with him. Peel Oliver's, a horse that hits the board with frequency. Look at last year, 26 out of 36, and this year, 9 out of 15. I mean, he's never too far out of it. One that, I mean, he's not camera shy, but he gets pieces more than he gets victories, which is fine. I mean, especially if you own one like him. And getting down to the rail now after having post 7 last time, he's going to get forwardly placed, I think, and that's when he typically, to me, does his best work is when he gets into the action early. So I'm thinking he doesn't want to give up the 2 hole when Ideal Perception blasts off the wings of the gate, and that's probably the way that he could be dangerous here, right? He gets brave off a trip like that. For me, though, he's just the clear cut one to use underneath.
I like you using Macho Phil here. I didn't use him at all in the top 5, but he was really good last year, and the first 2 starts this year not good at all. But there's lots there.
Yeah, there is. I mean, look, last year he had a big season as a sophomore. Now it's never easy, right? Making the transition from 3 to 4. And now you got to face off against accomplished racehorses, seasoned racehorses. You're not racing against restricted company anymore, so it's never an easy transition. His last 2, I mean, there's first 2 starts off the bench. I mean, there was a little bit of time in between them as well, and he had a vet scratch sick in his first scheduled start of the season. So there's a lot going against him in both those efforts at Mohawk Park. Took a lot of support last time before getting beat by a wide margin and never being in it. I think now, though, he's against a group that he can be competitive with and maybe, feel better about himself coming out of it. I don't think he can go with the legs of Ideal Perception off those efforts, but I do think, he can make his presence felt in here.
Number 3, Love My Rockin' Bird. The last time this one raced in this same class was at London, the end of May. Winner, Gagnon.
Yeah, that was a big effort. I mean, that actually hurt me pretty good because I needed Holly's Treasure, who was never able to get near this horse. I mean, Love My Rockin' Bird. I've been kind of chasing this one since, so when I'm on board, it doesn't work out. But Robert Offangle is in full effect here tonight, right? I got him picked for fourth, 7-1 on the board. I think, when you can't leave off the high 5.
And to round out your high 5, Bettor's Dream.
Yeah, just looking for a trip, right? If you like the 1, Kind of like the 9, and you know this one's going to be a big price. And I think if he can just stay on the helmet of P.L. Oliver, he can, hide along the pylons and maybe get a piece of it at a big number.
Well, Ideal Perception has been falling down to 1 to 2 on the board, about what we might have thought. P.L. Oliver on the inside with Macho Phil and Love My Rockin' Bird. In the center, it is Major Ace and Ideal Perception. To the outside, Better's Victory, J.J. Xavier, Capitano Italiano, and the second tier, Better's Dream. It's a field of 9. 10th dash. Here they come. Field for the 10th race. Gathering speed. There at the start of the rough. Love My Rockin' Bird, Ideal Perception, P.L. Oliver, and Macho Phil. Right now, P.L. Oliver on the inside as they drive on into the turn. Ideal Perception having some steering problems on the turn a little bit, and off stride with Macho Phil. P.L. Oliver's got the lead. Ideal Perception straightened out and driving now. Ideal Perception is going to press on and clear to the front. P.L. Oliver is second. Then Better's Dream, Love My Rockin' Bird. Better's Victory is fifth away. Then it is back to Major Ace and J.J. Xavier and Capitano Italiano as they race around the turn, and then Macho Phil is out of this one. Ideal Perception 1 to 5 on the board. Leads as they race their way on towards us with P.L. Oliver filling the pocket. And then third along to the inside is Better's Dream as they race off the turn and they come on up towards us and the half, and racing on the outside now, racing fourth, that is J.J. Xavier. Love My Rockin' Bird is fifth. Outside sixth is Capitano Italiano. Then Better's Victory, Major Ace, and then it is back to Macho Phil. Into the backstretch, and Ideal Perception is in command of this race. P.L. Oliver, though, is bravening up in the pocket as they roll on down the backstretch. J.J. Xavier outside third. Better's Dream is fourth, and Love My Rockin' Bird and Capitano Italiano, and then Better's Victory. Ideal Perception as they race their way on towards the three quarters, and by three quarters in a lively 1:25 and 2. Ideal Perception. P.L. Oliver has been bravening up and trying to keep close, but Ideal Perception looks sharp as they turn for home. P.L. Oliver is second. Then a gap of a couple of lengths in Better's Dream and Love My Rockin' Bird. On down the stretch drive they come. Ideal Perception coming closer is P.L. Oliver, but Ideal Perception is still sharp enough to win. Then P.L. Oliver, Love My Rockin' Bird, and Better's Dream 153 and 4. Ideal Perception did just about what we thought he would.
Yep, he certainly did. I mean, a little bit wide in the turn there, and then touchdown in the lead, and it was pretty much over at that point, Gary. I mean, he's such a hard horse to catch, especially here at the river, and goes legit fractions, right? It's not like he ever tries to go out there and steal them. A little bit leg weary late this time around, 53 and 4, but it was never really in doubt. I mean, P.L. Oliver made it look close on the end, but he was never going by Ideal Perception. But it plays out like the way we thought, right? P.L. Oliver pushed it, pushes out to the early lead, lets Ideal Perception go, and those two decide it. Again, pretty happy with what happened behind that too. Love My Rockin' Bird rounds out the trifecta, and I thought the Better's Dream would follow P.L. Oliver off the switch and ended up, getting a piece of it at a big number.
Well, the only thing is the break of Macho Phil, because you had the right ones as your top five. It's just that Macho Phil, well, it went south early.
Yeah, back to the drawing board with him. I mean, he just hasn't, come back at the age of 4, like he was right in his first 2 seasons of racing. A couple of lackluster efforts, and I thought maybe he'd be able to wake up here at the river to a better result. But again, I think they'll have to just do some tinkering and come back for another day.
Well, Ideal Perception is going to have to move back up in class, because at this level, I think he's just too good.
He is, yeah, no question about it. And I think at the preferred level, I mean he's going to be a threat. It's just going to be dependent on the post position, right? I mean he just he draws 7 or 8, it gets tough on him. But if he at least leave from a spot where he can get to the front, then he's always dangerous. I mean he swells up on the lead. We saw it again tonight. Another real nice victory here at the river for Ideal Perception.
On the board, it's a 5-1-3-9-6. Back in front of his 5 Ideal Perception, 6-year-old American Ideal Bay horse owned by SSG Stables. Anthony Beaton, the trainer. Anthony Hahn is the winning driver. It's the 4th win this year, a 20th lifetime for Ideal Perception. The 10th race payouts 5, Ideal Perception, 270, 220, 210, 1, Peel Oliver, 280, 210. 3, Love My Rockin' Bird, 370, $2 exact or $450 try, 670. Double, 1010. Dollar pick 3 is $7.50. The dollar pick 4 is $14.75. The dollar pick 5, $34.60. And a dollar high five of $647.10. Note the 20-cent high five pays $129.42. The 10th race order of finish from the top down, 293 715 That's 293 715 on the bottom. That concludes the live harness racing program for this Monday evening. There's a look at the photo for 5th in the final dash. Note that our next live racing event is this coming Wednesday. Our first race, 6:30 p.m. Buenas noches, amigos. Good night, everybody. Good night, Christine.
Good night.